This is the first week of my summer break. The Ravenswood Atelier summer break is pretty long. It's about 3 months, so it's good if you need to get a seasonal job or something like that. And it's also long enough as well so you can get a big project finished. So I spent this first week thinking about what I want to, my goals for my summer break, because I want to be making sure that I'm being efficient with my time. And Ravenswood, the schedule when school's in session is, well, it's pretty strict, so you kind of have all of the slots of your time filled up, so you know what you're going to be doing all throughout the day. So I just wanted to make sure that I was making good use of my time over summer break. So I'm focusing in on one big goal, and that is this big master copy that I'm doing of a Solomon J. Solomon painting, his Samson painting. So I really want to be spending most of my time and effort on that. So that's going to be my big main project and focus over the summer. And then on my phone, I have just a running list where I have a running to-do list of little projects that I want to get done and little things on my to-do list, which I think is good because then I know like what I'm going to be doing the day is always working on that master copy, but then if I have spare time, I can always refer to the list on my phone. And it's also good too because it's then I don't have all these things that I'm keeping in my head that I'm worried about remembering, because I have them all out of me written down in the phone, so I don't have to think about it until I do have a spare moment, and then I can go back and refer to that list. And so I think that'll be good this summer to try that, because I think usually I will overcommit myself to a lot of big projects, which I just can't get done in that amount of time. So this time I'm just going to be focusing on one big project and then little things that I can do when I want to. So this first week, I spent one day working on the master copy, taking this week kind of easy, giving myself a little bit of a break and vacation. But then the following weeks, I think I'll be spending a lot more time in the studio. But one big thing was moving that huge Solomon J. Solomon painting from one room into another. So I had to take the painting down, move the painting into a different room, and then tip the easel through two doorways to get it into this other room. And then the challenging part was getting the painting back onto the easel. And the painting is really heavy. And it's not that I can lift it, especially in the back, because there's a cross beam in the back where I can lift it. But getting the front of it on to the painting, it's just it's so big, it's so awkward to lift. And no one else was in the studio, and I really wanted to work on it that day. So, and there's this moving stage that we have at Ravenswood, so I rolled the stage over to my easel, which brought the floor then halfway up the distance that I needed to get it on the ledge of the easel. So I got the painting up on the stage, walked the painting over to the edge of the stage by the easel, and then it was really difficult, but I got it up then onto the easel ledge, and I was really, really proud of myself. So it was this big, huge, awkward painting, and then so I didn't need to wait another day and ask for help from someone else. Okay, but then working on it, so I hadn't worked on this painting I don't remember the last time I worked on it actually, so really fresh eye working on it. I'm just using charcoal right now to get the basic drawing onto the canvas. And what I was doing was I was looking at it, and the lines were all kind of looking the same, and it was kind of hard to judge proportions and shapes because everything was handled in a really similar way. So what I started doing then was accenting lines that were accented in the painting, which helped a bit. And then I worked on the woman that's on the right, and I started laying down a lot more charcoal. I'm standing really far away from the painting in my viewing spot, and so I was having trouble seeing the lines that I'd put down. So I'm putting a lot more charcoal down to kind of get the shadow shape and light shape down. And I'm not really used to this drawing on canvas with charcoal, and I don't really know exactly what's going to happen painting over it, because I've painted over charcoal before, but not this much and not something this huge. So I guess we're just gonna see what happens. But I feel like I do have to be putting as much charcoal down and as dark as I'm doing it, just so I can see what I'm doing when I step far back to make judgments on proportions and shapes. And then yesterday I went on Facebook because I was going to upload something, and I saw that one of my paintings had been taken down. It's this one of Brian, and it was taken down from a complaint of nudity. And I ended up reloading the image and putting a censor over the penis, which I don't like doing, because when you put a censor over something, it's saying that there's something wrong or shameful or bad about it. But I want people to see the image too, so it's kind of like, do I just not upload my artwork anymore to Facebook? Because especially right now while I'm in school, we spend half of our day there studying the nude figure, and especially for painters that are learning in the classical tradition, there is such a tradition of working from a live nude model, because you're really learning anatomy and you're learning how light falls on form. And I think it's a really important thing to do if you want to be a painter, especially a figurative painter, to learn everything and know everything about at least visually, of the human body. It makes me sad, and honestly kind of mad too, that people find the body, their human race, as something that is shameful or bad, or that needs to be hidden. So I don't know. I posted on my Facebook then, and I kind of wrote something up that was asking if anyone did like report the image, and if they find the nude body shameful or offensive, that if they would just please unfollow or unfriend me instead of reporting my images. But then my aunt commented, and she made a good point too, that maybe it wasn't a friend or follower, but just like a Facebook monitor that's randomly searching images. But it is, I mean, I know Facebook has those rules, and so if an image gets reported, I'm going to follow it and censor the image, so I can at least have the image out there, even though it has a censor bar on it. But I really don't agree with nudity as being something bad that needs to be censored either. So on my Facebook page too, I also put my personal website, so you can see the image for what it is without the censor bar. But I'm definitely going to keep putting my images up there however I have to do it, because it's part of the thing also why I do this YouTube channel, is so I can share my work with other people, and they can kind of see if they're interested in what you would learn in an atelier, and someone that's going through training to be a painter. So hopefully I can keep having my images for what they are. But I am using a platform, and so I have to obey those rules of the platform as well. But for my Facebook page, I have my Facebook, I don't know what they call it, like an artist page or fan page or something like that. And that's all my artwork on there, and just everything that I'm making in school pretty much. But the one with the image that got taken down was my personal Facebook account, which I still just, I only post artwork stuff or other things, like this book that I just found. So it just has other, I guess not just work that I'm making, but other areas of my life that have to do with painting and drawing. So I'll put a link for that if anyone is interested in keeping updated with that. But so to end this on a happy note, I found this book. It's called Rembrandt's Nose, A Flesh and Spirit in the Master's Portrait by Michael Taylor. And I've read about that much into it, I think 6 chapters in, and it's really, really interesting. Really interesting. It talks about the nose, with how expressive you can make a nose with like crinkling it or flaring the nostrils, but saying how there's so much little movement in the nose, but how expressive it can be. But it's not just about the nose either. It's how, well, so far what I've read in it, it's a lot about how Rembrandt is so good at capturing really subtle expressions at that every portrait, or not even when it's a just like a portrait, but if it's like a biblical or history painting, how every figure, you can really tell what the person's thinking or get a story from them with how he is representing the expression of what their nose or mouth or eyes or anything is doing. It's really interesting. So I'll put the name and the author in the description box below if anyone else wants to look it up.